This episode contains discussion around topics such as depression and suicide.
Welcome to the JD Remedy.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the JD Remedy. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode this week. I am also filming today's episode as well as a voice record just because I want to get into the habit of it. Obviously, you guys know I have a YouTube channel, so just thought I could put two and two together and get more footage for you guys. Today's episode is going to be a little different, and when I say different, obviously I am very open on my channel with you guys. I talk about real things. I'm very authentic. I'm very raw. But I film when I feel good and I talk about my dark times. However, I haven't wanted to film a podcast or do any videos for a little while. I have been struggling with my depression. I have spoken openly on this podcast about some of my mental health challenges, but for anyone that has dealt with mental health, they know that it is a journey. Sometimes you feel great and other times it hits you like a ton of bricks out of nowhere for no reason, and you just gotta quote unquote get through it. So this episode isn't in any way a woe is me, cry for help. It's just I wanted to fucking talk about it because it's real. It happens to so many people, and I just think it's something that we should be able to openly talk about with no judgment, with an open mind, because everybody's experience is different, and we should be able to get onto whatever platform you use to talk about your life and say, hey, like, I'm struggling. Just the same as we talk about our weight loss journeys or our relationships or, you know, a career path or whatever it is, you should feel open enough to get online and say what's going on. And my platforms have always been that, you know, that role model. Well, I want to be that role model for people where I feel comfortable enough talking about my stuff in hope that you guys will feel okay. And you know that I'm always someone you can come to, but most importantly, it gives you guys the courage to either say, hey, I'm going through something similar, or, you know, we can do it together. Yeah, the last few weeks have been tough for me, and I want to talk about a few things that I noted, but I don't really have a structure for how today's episode's going to go. I just know that I want to talk about it. So here I am. I often see and hear people of influence, you know, they disappear off online for a little while, or they come back and they say, you know, I had to take a break. I wasn't feeling the best. And I, in a way, did that as well, because when you're depressed, for me anyway, again, everyone's different and has different symptoms or experiences, but for me personally, depression just takes it out of me. Like, I feel exhausted all the time, and when I'm at my peak of depression, it's like exhausting to open my mouth to say anything, let alone have the energy to construct a sentence or a thought. So I was like, I want to get on my podcast and talk about it when I'm ready. But then I also was like, why don't we talk about it while you're going through it? And although this episode may be hard to listen to, one, because I'm obviously a lot slower than when I'm feeling at my best, but also this is real. This shit exists, right? And you're not alone for anyone that's going through it. So let's just fucking talk about it. So here I am. No structure, just talking shit, apparently. If you have depression, you know that feeling of just pure exhaustion. And for me, I really try to have awareness of myself and my environment and what's going on for myself, where I can say, how did this peak of it happen? Like, what triggered it? What triggered me to be in this state where I feel fucking mentally and physically exhausted, and I've just been crying and crying, and just like I get a lot of anger with my depression as well. I like snap at people and just rage. Like I spent money fixing my phone last week because I threw it at a wall. I am in no means a violent person. It actually scares me, but for some reason that's how I reacted. I was having a mental breakdown and my first instinct was to throw something at a wall. And, you know, for lots of reasons, that was stupid. But that's what emotion came up for me. Now, I think a lot of it has been triggered because I've been very busy at work. I think for a normal person that's doesn't have health challenges or mental health challenges, working overtime in general and just those stressful weeks and those long hours can be a lot for anyone, right? But just speaking from my own personal experience, for someone that already struggles to sleep, to get out of bed in the morning, you guys know what I'm talking about. I heavily rely on, well, not rely on, but I heavily enjoy going to the gym. It's what keeps me going. It keeps me sane. I feel better mentally and physically from going to the gym. I've been going once or twice a week as opposed to 4 or 5. And it's at the end of the week, so Saturday and Sunday. I work so much that I don't have the energy or the time to get a session in, if a good one at that. I haven't been to my psych for ages because every time she's available, I'm required at work. So it's been a struggle, and I'm someone that will always take ownership of my situation. Like, what can I do with what I've got, right? Like, what's in my control, what's out of my control, what am I going to do about it? But when it's at that peak, it's just, depression is so hard to explain for someone that doesn't go through it. It's like, it's like a cloud in your brain, right? You know all the answers are there, but you can't find them, nor do you have the energy or mental capacity to start looking for it. Whereas, you know, when you have your support system, your friends, your family, co-workers, they're like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And it's like, I know I need to do all that, but I can't be bothered doing any of that. And that's the vicious cycle. It's like you have things that can help you, but you just can't connect the dots. You can't look forward. And that's where it goes to dark places, because there have been a couple of times recently in the last couple of months where, you know, fatigue, I think, is a big trigger for me in terms of feeling depressed, but I was just so overwhelmed. And you get these thoughts like, especially in my late 20s, like, where is my life heading? What am I supposed to be doing at this age? Am I doing enough? Am I progressing quick enough? Am I behind? Am I on track? Like, I'm newly single. I'm trying to run a business. I'm trying to do well at work. I'm trying to look after my mental health and my physical health. And all of that just becomes, it's easier to just say, I can't be fucking bothered anymore. And then my intrusive thoughts of like, you know what would be so good? It's just going to sleep and not waking up. Like, it's easier for me to just go to sleep, which is what I've been doing. Like, I had a day off work and all I did was sleep because I just couldn't be bothered listening to my own thoughts anymore. The weekend where I finally get time to myself, all I want to do is go to bed. After work, like, I'm so exhausted, I just go to bed. But it just gets to that point where you're like, I just can't be bothered even trying to figure out how the fuck life works, or where's my place in it, and how to move forward. And, you know, I'm aware I'm speaking on a public platform, but I'm also going to be very honest. Like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I just can't be bothered. Like, I can't be bothered with anything. Like, what even am I bothered about? I don't know. It's so hard to explain, and I'm trying to find the words to explain it because, you know, I don't doubt that I'm the only person that goes through these thoughts and these feelings. And I want to make this a productive episode where, yes, I talk about how realistic this is, but like, how the fuck do we deal with that, right? How do we get through it? And a lot of that, I think, first of all, is having awareness that you are feeling this way and you are having these thoughts and feelings. And then how do you bridge that gap between being in that situation and then telling someone that can do something about it? Or how do you pull yourself out of it, right? I think if you're in the height of it, you can't pull yourself out of it. Otherwise people would, and we wouldn't have people trying to take their lives. So the thing that you need to understand, which you probably do if you go through depression or you're listening and maybe your loved one goes through it, is when we start having these thoughts and they snowball, it's like anything you say just kind of fucking, it like ricochets. Our brain is a brick wall, and the thought, like, we hear you, but it's like, okay, what do you want me to do with that information? Like, I have no capacity in this brain to process what you're saying or have the energy to do something about it. It's easier for us to just be depressed. As fucked as that sounds, you know. And the irony of hearing about, sometimes my loved ones have been really depressed, and hearing about how they may have been suicidal or tried to take their life. I've had a couple of friends that have tried to take their life. And you just sit and you go, but she has so much support around her. Like, she is so loved. How can they not see it? And my thoughts have never been, no one cares about me. Like, I know a lot of people do, but their concern is like, you just ask for help. You know, when you get those thoughts or you get those feelings, just ask for help. And I have in the past, and sometimes I do when I catch myself. I have no problem saying, hey, I'm having some shit thoughts, I can't be alone, or just having someone text me back saying, are you okay? Like, everything's going to be okay. Like, and they try and call me or whatever the process is. It's different every single time. And I'm fortunate enough to have the communication skills to ask for help, or to have quality people in my life where I trust that I can ask for help, or they maybe know what to do because they're either really close to me or they're in the field of work I'm in. Some people don't have that. But, you know, it's easy for people to say, if you ever get like that, then text me. But the other part of it is, whilst we're going through it, it's like, I know I can ask for help, but like, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't know what to ask for, and I don't know what I would expect back, right? And on the other end of that is like, I don't know what to say either, but it's like, just know that I'm here and people love you and care about you. So as a support system, sometimes, in my opinion, which I think is better, is sitting in silence with someone. Like, I've done that before with people. It's like, hey, I'm here. And then you just sit there and you hold their hand, or you sit next to them, and just, if you're in their surroundings, to me personally, like, that goes such a long way than trying to give someone an answer or trying to like figure it out for them. Because for me personally, I don't have the mental capacity to listen to what you're saying. I think when you're in that moment as well, like, you don't really care. But, you know, I'm just being real. Trying to make sense of my own mental health, as well as trying to give some sort of value from this episode and help. But it's like what I said to, I was talking to one of my friends about it, who has tried to take her life before. And I totally understand, like, you don't know what to say, you don't have the energy. So we came up with like almost like a traffic light system, but I think they were emojis, like different emojis. And one might be like, you obviously set it with the person when you're in a good place. And it's like, one is just like, hey, not feeling too good, can you talk? Can we talk? One might just be like, hey, I just need a hug. One might be like, can you just come over and like sit with me? One might be like, can you just text me? Like, I need to just talk, but I don't want to talk on the phone, because talking on the phone while you're depressed is like so exhausting. And one is like, emergency, get the fuck here now. And I think if you're in that space and you have someone you trust to share those traffic light systems or emojis with, it's a lot easier. It's easier to just send a picture or a color than try to explain where you're at or what you need. Because, you know, sometimes I don't know what I need. I just want the other person to be aware that I'm feeling things, right? Or if you're the support system for them, it could be, you could send them like an orange light, like the traffic light system. Hey, I'm sending you an orange light. Like, hey, I'm not feeling good, but I don't know what I need. I think like bullet points or multiple choice. What do you need? Hug. For me to tell you I love you. For me to come over. Ice cream. Just to be heard. Like whatever it is. And then it's easier for us to just be like, yeah, that option looks good. I'll order a slide of that, please. Yeah, it's tricky. It's exhausting, and I've spoken to people about my schedule at work to, you know, lessen it and trying to get some ideas of how to get through these weeks. And some people's, you know, especially because I'm not going to the gym, their answer is just get up earlier and do it in the morning. And although I appreciate that, because, you know, we all have the same amount of time in the day, for a depressed person to get out of bed at any hour of the day is a challenge, let alone fucking earlier, to have the energy first thing in their day to exercise. Now, I'm not trying to label us as being useless or depressed people can't do anything or anything like that. I'm just trying to acknowledge that it is hard, and people with depression don't function sometimes. Sometimes we're amazing, but sometimes it is hard. And I think because a lot of people don't understand depression, especially if you have never experienced it, I think we're slowly getting there, but there's still so much judgment around, well, you're just sad, like get on with it. Or, you know, just fucking go do this and you'll feel better. Or you still have to get on with it. Like, yes, we do. And that's the hard part, is like, for me personally, I'm not going to speak on behalf of anyone else, but for me personally, it's like trying to live a life with like a quarter of a tank left, right? That's the only metaphor that came to my brain, is like you're on the same lap as everyone else, or that you're running the same race as everyone else, but you've got a quarter of a tank of fuel and everybody's full, right? And yes, everybody goes through their own shit. Everybody's got stuff they're dealing with, but I'm talking about one thing in particular, and that's mental health and depression in particular. So yeah, I can only speak from my experience, but it's been fucking tough. You know, this podcast is about raw shit in real time. And that's what we're doing. You know, you just cry over nothing. I think when you're at that mental capacity that you're already feeling overwhelmed, you can hear in my voice, I'm just exhausted, like for no reason. Had a great sleep, as far as I'm aware. I'm just really tired. And the thing with depression is there's not always a reason. Like sometimes there is. This happened, now I feel depressed. Or sometimes you just wake up and your brain's like, you know what? Have depression today. So feel depressed just for shits and gigs. But when people say, what's wrong? Do you want to talk about it? you know, that's probably a good idea. But my cat's just like Spider-Man in this office. He's like running around climbing walls and shit. It's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea to talk about it, but do I even know what's wrong? Do I even know what to tell you? And that's where that sitting in silence comes in handy, because we're already overwhelmed, we're already exhausted, and I totally love and appreciate that people are like, hey, what's going on? Let me help you, because I'm that person nine times out of 10. Like, it's my job as a coach to do that. But on the other side of it, it's like, don't know. And I've been around enough mentally ill people that aggression is sometimes a response, because you're so frustrated. It's like, one, we almost feel judged, but two, it's like, I know I'm not okay, and I know you want me to be okay, but I don't know how to be okay, and that frustrates me. I don't want to feel like this. I want to feel better. I know I'm capable of more, but I'm struggling to get there. But like, I don't want to feel like this. I want to get there, and I want to. I just don't know how, and then I get frustrated. And feeling in that, like, I've seen people in my family, a couple of people in my family and friends. It's like you just bury yourself in this mental black hole, and the more you overthink things, and there's a reason anxiety and depression go together, is like the more that you think about things. And when you're depressed, you don't think about positive shit. You don't think about possibilities and what you're looking forward to. It's what you don't have, or what you're not capable of, or what people aren't doing for you. And you know, I've been in situations where you try and help people and you try and remind them about that, and you're met with anger and frustration, and yeah, I don't understand how we will ever completely understand depression. Anxiety is a whole nother topic, but I don't understand how we'll ever comprehend it. But it needs to be something that is spoken about. And the funny thing is, it's not funny, I say that. It's just as like a normal sentence. But the beginning of this, when was it? I think maybe mid last year. I forget that we're in 2022. Last year, I spoke to my doctor because I ran out of my repeats for my medication, and I had a consult, and I said, I want to get off my medication. Like, it was a short-term thing. I want to get off of it. And she said, no. She said, no, I want you to be on it for at least a year. And at the time I had like mixed feelings about that. Like, why is that? Like, I'm going to therapy. I feel good. And she's like, I want you to be on it for a year and then we can talk. I was like, oh, okay. And lucky, and I'm not saying like medication is the be all and end all, but I am saying like it does help you. I feel like it helps. But then again, like, I feel like this, and it comes and goes. And that's why like mental health it's this whole fucking web of shit, right? It's what support do you have around you? What are you physically and mentally doing to support yourself? Are you talking to the right people professionally and not professionally? And do you have medication to literally alter your brain? Because it's a chemical imbalance. It is. It's like your brain is responsible for how you feel, what you think, what you say. So, of course, medication is going to help put shit back together, right? But yes, 100%, if you're only taking medication and not doing anything else to change your behaviors, the people around you, the toxic shit in your life, your environment, you know, your rituals and routines, not training, meditation, journaling, what are you eating, you know, that's why I say it's a web, like it's all everything combined. And I think I've spiraled a little bit because I haven't been going to my psych. I haven't been going to the gym. I'm fucking exhausted. And I'm just wondering if the metaphor of the web was the right thing. But like, as you cut or pick away at those support systems, that web will break, right? Like, and the fucking spider will fall out. The spider will fall out of the web if we keep breaking all of the points of connection, right? So, yeah, I feel in the heat of it, I'm exhausted, I'm emotional. I have had a couple of things happen, not just work, but I've had a couple of things happen in my life and recently, and you know, I've spoken about in previous episodes and with my clients, like that domino effect of your wheel of life. And for me, my advice is always have a look at all of those areas of your life. Where's the one place that needs attention? Because I guarantee you it's not all of them. And I think I spiraled because I looked at my wheel of life and was like, there's quite a few fucking areas on here that are not going well. And then, you know, that's where those overwhelming thoughts of this just isn't gonna be good. I just can't be bothered trying to fix multiple areas at once. And yeah, without going into detail about what's going on in my life, this is, it's exhausting talking about it because, like, as you probably know, like if you yourself have gone through depression or someone else, it's like the spiraling thoughts is what gets you here. Like the more you think about shit, the more you analyze shit, the more depressed you feel. And then you get so caught up in feeling exhausted from trying to overanalyze everything, you then feel exhausted and then you can't do anything about it. And then you feel even more depressed because you're not doing anything about it. And it's just, it's a little out of control if you're asking me. I think like the best thing to think is like it is a roller coaster and it does come in waves. And when you're feeling really good, pay attention to what you're doing that's making you feel really good, you know. And when I say when you're not feeling good, something has either triggered it or one of those areas in your web just needs a little extra attention to like tighten the web, build it back up. Is it the people you're hanging around with? Is it you don't have a good support system? You know, are you seeking professional help? Are you training? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you on medication? It's just, are you stressed out? Do you need a break? Do you need a fucking break? Take a week off work and just sleep for the week. That sounds pretty fucking good to me. I'm going to do that after this. But I think having that one thing that you can focus on that makes you feel good. Like, for example, today I was feeling depressed all day. I woke up and I was like, fuck, cannot be bothered today with life. And I got up and I didn't want to go to the gym, but I did because it's the only time during the week I was going to go. And I know if I didn't go, I'd be more fucking depressed and I would hate myself for not going. So I got in the car and I drove to the gym and I sat in the car park in my car and cried for like 10 minutes and then just took some deep breaths. And I try all different things, right? Sometimes a cry makes me feel good. Sometimes calling my mum makes me feel good. Sometimes listening to certain songs makes me feel happy. Sometimes caffeine's my fucking best friend. Whatever kind of gets you through in the moment. And the important thing is like, whatever gets you through, obviously, as long as it's good for you. I'm not saying like go take drugs or anything, but have no judgment on like what makes you feel better. If it makes you fucking happy for at least 10 minutes, then yeah. So I put on my playlist that makes me feel really happy. And I went into the gym and I did the best I fucking could with what I had in the tank. And I felt okay afterwards. I felt good that I had gone to the gym. So it was like the first step in the right direction today. And then had an incident with someone that like crashed my whole world, and now I'm depressed again. So it's like, now what are the options I have to feel better today? You know, what can I do? I've reached out to a friend to be like, hey, I can't be fucked doing anything, but I think it might be nice to just either have some company or maybe be busy. I think because I'm sitting at home by myself all day, all you do is think and cry and overwhelm yourself. Whereas if you're out, you know, and I totally understand not wanting to go out. That's been me for a couple of weeks. Like, then don't go out, do something, go for a walk, but play music or learn something, like read a book so your mind is occupied. And you know what? If all you need to do to get through the day is just fucking sleep, then do that. The point is, like, what do you have to get through it? And when you're feeling good, think about that and have like the tools in your belt for when these moments come on where you can reach in that tool belt and be like, hey, let's try this one. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Does this tool work today? No, fucking throw it out. Reach into the belt. What about this one right now? Oh, a little bit. Cool. Try it. And then you might feel better enough to try the other tool as well, if you understand the metaphor that's going on in my brain. Sometimes I just lay in my bed and cuddle my cat and I feel fine. But yeah, it's just finding that one thing that makes you feel better. And I think finding someone you trust, like a support system, and talking to them about your traffic lights. You know, if I send you a red dot, this is what I need from you. If I send you an orange, just fucking check in. If, like, you know, it doesn't even have to be fucking traffic lights. Like, mine were emojis, like, this face means this, pineapple, blah, blah, blah. And then write it on a piece of paper or write it in your phone, like a legend in your, like a key, not like the person's a legend, but, you know, a legend that you refer to. Oh my God. Write it in your notes and screenshot it, like make it together so that when you feel shit, you just look in that notes, choose that emoji and send it to your support person. You know, it's easier than trying to ask for help, and it's easier than trying to explain your situation, and it's actually easier for your support person to know how to support you because you're asking them directly without actually having to say anything. And I think that's fucking genius if you ask me. I'm going to make an app about it one day. Hear it here first. Copyrighted. That's it. I don't know what the purpose of today was. I just wanted to be real and honest with you guys that I'm not always a fucking rainbow of sunshine and fireworks, although I am for the majority of my life. And you can still be a person of influence like I am. I'm a coach. I help other people with their mental health, with their life, with their confidence and their self-worth. And then I myself can still be going through shit. So let's stop fucking judging people. Let's stop assuming that everybody has their shit together, because I bet you no one does. Let's just learn to be gentle with each other and patient. Patience is key. Patience is key with mental health. And, you know, let's not, I know it's hard in the moment, but let's not judge our support systems, because a lot of the time they don't know. They don't understand it. They don't know how to help. They don't know what to say, especially if they've never been through it themselves. So let's all just fucking be gentle with each other is what I wanted to come on and say. Spread the love. But yes, I'm fine. I'm just very tired. But I wanted to talk about it in the heat of the moment when I had the energy to, because it's all well and good that I jump on here and be like, mental health. When I'm feeling good, I just thought maybe it would hit home for a few people. So sending love to everyone. Thank you guys so much for listening. I still get messages from you guys about the episodes, so please continue to do that, especially about today. You know, I'm going to post in my Facebook group, if you listen to this, just about the fucking codes. Like, let's make a legend together. Let's make a code for each other. I'm doing a mental health check-in, right? So if you're listening to this, please message me. Let me know how you're feeling. Let's connect and cry together. No, but in all seriousness, like, we've got this. But thank you so much for listening. If you need to reach out for yourself, or you just want to tune in and say, hey, appreciated today's episode, go to my Instagram, jaydelpup, JAYDEDELPUP. You'll see my link tree there. It has all of the shit that you need to find me and to connect, including the Facebook group. for this podcast and support in general. So thank you so much for listening. I promise I'll be back to sunshine and rainbows on the next episode. But have a great day. Bye.